In our last class, we discussed about the verb. Yes, let us continue of the verb. Now we are going to discuss about was and where. Was and where. See, particularly we have lots of confusion in the sentence where we can use was and where. So let us discuss about that was and where, particularly where we can use in this sentences. Yes, this is a common error among the students. We have lots of confusions in this sentence. We have to use was or where. Yes, we will discuss about that now. Both was and were are the past tense of the verb to be. However, most of the confusion starts with the phrases such as if I was and if I were. Many people use them interchangeably every single day, even though it isn't grammatically correct. So if we are going to use if I was and if I were, that is a common error among the students. Yes. So let us usage where we can use particularly was and where. Yes. Was can be used only with the first and third person singular. Mind it that first and third person singular. First and third person singular. Examples: I, he, she, it. Already we discussed about the person. First person, second person, third person. First person singular is I, plural is we. Second person singular you, plural you. Third person singular he, she, it, plural they. Yes. So was can be used only with the first and third person singular. What is the first and third person singular? First person I, then third person he, she, it, singular. Okay. Then was is used for statements that describe reality. That describe reality. Is what is that statement? Statement is nothing but it gives a simple news. It gives a simple news that describe reality. That describe reality. Yes. So under that examples, James was my friend at high school. James was my friend at high school. So here we mentioned James is a first person singular. First person. So here James mentioned he. Here James mentioned he. So he is a first person singular. That's why we are using here the auxiliary verb was. That's a James was my friend at high school. Then second sentence, I wanted to become a cook when I was younger. I wanted to become a cook when I. So here, what is the subject here? I. So I is a first person singular. That's why we are using here was. Okay, when I was younger. Then third one, the weather was warmer last summer than it is now. So it gives a simple statement. It is a reality. It's a statement, reality. Yes, so the weather was. So the weather, here the mention, third person singular, it. The weather was warmer last summer than it is now. Let's look at that other examples also. So can you get my point? I think so. Was can be used only with the first and third person singular. First and third person singular. I, he, she, it. Then where. Listen that where can be used with the rest of the pronouns I-E. That examples you, we, they. You, we, they. What is that pronouns? Pronouns is describing about a noun. Pronouns is describing about a noun. So you, we, they. What is that you, we, they? That is a you, we, they is a first person, second person, third person, plural. First person, second person, third person, plural. Okay, if you have subjective mood, you need to use where. Despite the fact that you might be talking about only one person. Only one person. So, was we should use a first person, third person singular, where we can use a first, second, third person plural. First, what is singular and plural? Singular is only one person's mentioned, describing only one person. So plural mean two or more persons. Okay, two or more. Yes, look at that where examples. James and I were finished at high school. So here I mentioned James as well as I. So here two persons mean they can mention James and I were friends at high school. James so no friend or no at high school. Okay, that's why we are using here where. Okay, where is then we were sitting round the fire cracking. We were sitting round the fire cracking. Is then they were applauded by the damage from the fire. They is a third person plural. Third person plural. I wish I were a better cook. I wish I were a better cook. I wish I were a better cook. Then I wish the weather were warmer this summer. Okay, is so was and were, particularly we can use was first person and third person singular. Then where we can use first, second, third person plural form. First and third person. So both we should use a past. Both we should use. Now we will discuss about do form verb. What is that do form verb? The present form, do does, past form, did, then past participle form, done. Okay, yes. The verb do has two forms in the present. That is the do and does. Do and does. The verb do has one form in the past, did. The verb do has one form in the past, did. Is the difference between do, obvious, does, where we can use particularly in this do and does. Let us discuss. The difference between do and does is very basic. Do is a verb and does is its third person singular present tense. Does is third person singular present tense. Both we can use a do and does as a verb. We can use as a present V1 form. Is according to the persons we should use do or does. We will discuss that. Yes. When the subject is represented by the pronouns I, you, we or they, we must use do. What is that I, you, we or they? That is the singular. That's a first person, second person, singular. So first person, second person, third person, singular. After we should use do. After we should use do. Then examples. I do not know the way. I do not know the way. So I is a first person singular. We should use here do. Then do you have any tickets for the concert? We asking questions. We are asking questions. So do you? You is a first person. You is a second person singular. You second person singular. So we are using here do. Then do you mind if I smoke? Asking questions. The you. How much do you charge for a haircut? That's a do. You. You is a second person singular. Then we do not have the resources. We do not have the resources to update our computer software. Okay, computer software. So we is what is that? First person plural. Okay, first person. What is that? First person plural. We should use. That's also do. Okay, can you get my point? So when the subject is represented by the pronouns I, you, we or they, we should use do. Whether asking a questions or whatever it may be. then does. When the subject is represented by the pronouns he, she or it, we must use does. He, she, it, what is that? That is the third person singular. Third person singular. He, she, it, third person singular. After the third person singular, whether the questions or answers, we should use does. Examples. It does not look like the right way. It is represent third person singular. Then, does your job fulfill your expectations? We're asking the questions, so we are using here does. Why? Because you. Does your job. Okay, does your job. Then, the store does not give credit. The store mean it represent it. The store, it. So, it is, what is that? Third person singular. Third person singular. Okay, yes, under that, see that under that examples, she always does things the hard way. What time does things train get to New York? He does not know the way. He does not know the way. Yes, so I, you, we, they, present form do. Then past form, what is that same we should use? Did. Then he, she, it, present form we should use does. Then in the same way, past, what is that? Did. Past did. For examples, look at the sentences. I put the keys on the table. I put the keys on the table. This one kind of sentence. How we can ask the questions? Do I put the keys on the table? Asking a questions. So here the I is what is that? First person singular. So do I put the keys on the table? The next one. She gets up early in morning. How we can ask a questions? The she we are using here, no. She mean, does she get up early in mornings? Asking a questions. Then coffee grows in Brazil. Coffee. What is that? It, no. Coffee we should mention here. It. Third person singular. Yes. Does coffee grows in Brazil? You like spend time at home. You like spend time at home. So how we can ask a questions? Do you like spend time at home? It's like that. Under that examples also is here. Is we drank milk. We drank milk. So what is that? Drank is a past tense of the verb. Drink, drank, drank. Write, wrote, written. Clean, cleaned, cleaned. So we are asking a questions mean that is already we knew that the drank is a past tense. So how we can use questions? We should use the auxiliary verb did. Did we drink milk? Did we drink milk? So we. Did we drink milk? Already I told. I, we, you, they, the present form do. In the same way the person's the past form. Let us discuss about have form verb. The present form have has, the past form had, the past participle form also had. So already we knew that the persons where we can use first person, second person as well as the third person. Though, so I, we, you, they, we should use have. He, she, it, we should use has. So what is that? I, we, you, they. First person singular is I. Then plural is we, you, they. We should use after that have. Then third person singular he, she, it. We should use what is that? Has. In the same way, the had, past perfect, passive voice. Past perfect, passive voice. Yes, look at the examples. The first person's the I have a lot of homework. I have a lot of homework. So why we are using here have? Because of the I is a first person singular. The first person singular. Yes. Then we have a nice house. Why we are using here the have? The have. Because of the first person plural is we. That's why we are using here. We have a nice house. Then third one. She has a good teacher. She has a good teacher. Why we are using here the has? Already I told. Has is we should use a he, she, it. So here we mentioned she is a third person singular. She is a third person singular. Then the women have a great time in the States. So the women, that is the woman is she. That's why we are using here have. Yes, in the same way, I had a lot of homework. We had a nice house. She had a good teacher. Then the women had a great time in the States. Yes, in the same way, we should use have as well as has. Yes, look at that another one. The verb have, a verb have has two forms in the present tense. When the subject is singular, the form is has. For examples, Melanie has a soccer game today. Soccer means football. So Melanie is the person. Person is she or he, whatever it may be. So she or he, she, it. We should use has. So Melanie has. That's what we are using here. Has a soccer game today. Look at that. So Melanie is one person. That means the subject is singular. The verb has goes with the singular subject. The singular subject is according to the persons. We should use according to the persons. We should use he. Have, has, or had. So we should use have, has is a present form. Then had is a past form. Okay, in the same way, the past participles also. Okay, I hope everyone can understood these verbs. Let us, you can work out in your home with more examples. Thank you.